The artist's journey, inspiration, influence, and creative courage. So what do Disney, anime, and photography have in common? They all shape how I create art. This is Tim Truelove, and today we're talking inspiration, originality, and how to handle critics along the way. Welcome to the podcast. Okay, inspiration is everywhere. So it's Tim with you again, and today's topic is something really close to my heart. It's artistic inspiration. I love talking about inspiration because truthfully, it's everywhere. It can hit you like a lightning bolt or creep in slowly over time. If you've ever created anything, even just a doodle in a notebook, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Inspiration can come from literally anything. Sometimes it's nature. Sometimes it's people. It might be a curve of a car, shape of a tree, rhythm of a song, the way someone carries themselves, or even a random piece of clothing that makes you think, that belongs on a character. For me, it's all that and more. The fear of creating original characters. Now, something I want to dig into today is the fear around creating original characters. It's a troubling trap when artists don't want to express their original concepts. Because let's be real, putting something out there, especially something personal, it's terrifying. It's like standing on the stage naked and just hoping nobody throws tomatoes, right? So even with a theater analogy, it's terrifying. You're putting yourself on display, literally, almost like you're asking for the feedback to come to you. And for some people, the feedback is too much. So one of the scariest things I ever did as an artist was create an original character from scratch. It's easy to draw someone else's popular character and add your style. I see this everywhere. It's a safe space. It's a character everyone's already familiar with, so what's the harm? It's like a band playing cover songs. You know, they might sound good, but they didn't write the song. It's not theirs. So they're relying on somebody else's content to push their content forward. So putting original stuff out there, it's scary. I get it. And don't get me wrong. Cover songs, fan art, they're great ways to build skill. But it's not the same as putting your stuff out into the world. Original characters are different. They're vulnerable. They come from a personal place. Whether it's a reflection of who you are, who you want to be, someone you admire. When you put that out there and someone criticizes it, it can hurt a lot. I feel you. I understand. Let's talk a little bit about understanding criticism. So, this is a major part of putting yourself out there is criticism. It's something every artist deals with. I mean, whether they want to accept it or not, or take the criticism or not, they have to deal with it at some point. And while it doesn't get easier, it does get clearer. There's a massive difference between constructive criticism and personal opinion. It's very important to understand the differences between them, and especially in our context and in the context of art. If someone just says, this looks like crap. It's obviously not useful. It's personal. It's noise. It's somebody projecting something of their own life upon you. It's a way for somebody to feel superior in some way. It does absolutely nothing in the context of art. But if they say, hey, this composition feels unbalanced, or what if you tried a different color scheme? That's more helpful. That's something you can actually use. You can work with it. And rarely do you get that kind of feedback, unless you're talking to other artists. Now, let's be real here. Most original characters that we're going to put out there, they're not going to be criticized by other artists. They're going to be criticized by people looking for something in that character to either complain about, to diss, or to like. And you never know where that criticism is going to come from. It could be in a style that you use. It could be a way they look. It could be the color of their skin. It could be their hair. It could be the clothing that they're wearing. It could be something that they said in a comic standpoint, or some way you posed them. It doesn't matter. That criticism is going to come from somewhere, and rarely will you get something that you can actually use. So when you get that criticism of something you can actually use, it's important to run it through a filter. So let's talk about criticism in a professional setting. I work in an industry where my art is seen by a lot of people. Not directly. People don't know it's my art. But it's something that I create and I put out into the world. I've been doing this professionally for over 20 years. Whether I'm designing graphics, developing websites, publishing books, creating layouts, there's always feedback. Most of my feedback is internal. Most of my feedback is coming from a different lens than art. But the key to knowing how to filter that feedback is understanding the difference between personal opinion and criticism and constructive criticism. So if I design something for a brand and someone says that doesn't feel on brand, I can go back, I can check the guidelines and make it better. That's somewhat constructive. If you've ever worked in any kind of professional graphic setting where you're dealing with clients or dealing even with internal clients, you probably understand where I'm coming from on this. Is that you're designing for somebody else. You're not designing for yourself. So you have to understand the company's branding guidelines or this person's preferences or something in order to make your artwork pass that filter. But if someone says, I just don't like it, okay, cool, noted, we're moving on. It means nothing. Now, if it's a decision maker that says, I don't like it, you're going to have to probe, right? You're going to have to be like, what don't you like about it? Can you please communicate that to me? You're trying to reel in that constructive criticism. And that same mindset has to apply when you're creating original content, especially characters. So here's the truth. There's a little piece of you in everything you create. Most of us are aware, some maybe not. When someone attacks that, it feels personal. But it's not always meant to be. You have to learn to separate what's helpful and what's just noise. So let's talk a little bit about my personal inspirations. We're gonna flip back over a little bit. So this is the fun part, inspiration. We love inspiration. Artists love it. I take a lot of inspiration from people. I'm not exactly a people person or a social butterfly. I don't like crowds, but I do love the human form. especially the female form. I'm proud to admit it. I know it might sound cliche, a guy drawing women, but for me, it's more than that. I'm drawn to curves, to expression, to movement. I think the female form is more interesting in my art. I use it a lot. There's more versatility, softness, and strength wrapped in subtlety. It's absolutely shows in my work. If you've seen anything I've published, you can tell Tim likes to draw girls. That's just the way it is. So this flows into more influences from art, comics, and Disney. So I'm also massively inspired by anime, comics, and yes, as I mentioned, Disney. Big expressive eyes, button noses, curves, drama, fluid movement. I love it all. And I'm very much inspired by it. So there's an artist, his name's J. Scott Campbell. He's one of my biggest influences. I've followed him for a long time, probably more than 15 years, on the website DeviantArt. His philosophy was simple when I started following him. I don't know if he still follows the same philosophy or not, but it stuck with me. It's something he said. He says, I draw girls because I like to. And it stuck with me because don't be ashamed of what you do. Don't be ashamed of what you like. Just own it. It took me a long time to really understand that concept, lean into it, and bring it fully into my artwork. Being able to admit it's an important step. It's part of the artistic journey. So movies like Frozen and Tangled have incredible character designs. I love them. Everything from Elsa when you see her, right? And that's what we're all chasing. It's that level of recognition. It's the squishiness. It's the expressiveness. It's the iconic looks. That's what we're all trying to get. It's easy for an artist to take that character, say take Elsa, redraw her in their own style, and say, hey, look what I did. That's great. Awesome. Way to go. You understand you understand the assignment, right? But that artist didn't create Elsa, just modified her. So will they have that same type of enthusiasm and willingness to share with the characters that they create? And that's a real hard question, and sometimes there is no straight answer. So we might not have Disney's budget, right, to plaster characters on lunchboxes and everywhere else, but we can strive for designs so distinctive that people know them instantly. And that comes from practice and inspiration. What about this do you like, and what about this do you want more into your artwork? So let's talk about another inspiration, photography. I'm huge on photography. I love photography. So my wife and I shot weddings and portraits for well over a decade. Together we've shot, she's shot more than 100 weddings. I've probably shot, 20 to 30 of them with her. But I went into portraiture, studio portraiture, working with lighting and studio equipment, making a lot different kind of imagery. And that taught me a lot. It taught me so much. It taught me about lighting, taught me about posing, emotion, movement, working with people, and getting comfortable with creating a different kind of art. I still use those lessons every day. I sketch or design, a scene or place a pose. I'm always going back and looking at my photos, seeing if there's something that I can use in my artwork that I've already taken photos of. So yes, even AI can spark ideas. We'll dive more into an AI discussion later, but for now, we have to understand that inspiration can sometimes come from the weirdest of places. Recently, even some AI-generated images have caught my eye. Not because I think AI as an artist, but because they sparked something. Sparks an idea. You know, these AI images remind me of classic anime styles, or even a particular character in a different style, right? And I grew up loving these characters. And I thought, man, you know what? I want to explore that in my own way, which ties back to creating fan art and creating characters, variations of characters, and trying to utilize that in your own work. So AI has its purpose, but I want to make it clear that I don't believe AI images are art. And again, that'll be part of another discussion. But you don't have to copy. Inspiration isn't theft. It's a springboard. It's a spark. It's what makes your vision possible. We have to have inspiration in our work. We have to recognize it. We don't plagiarize, but we use it to help us advance our craft, to push our own work, not somebody else's. So we need to develop the courage to share our own work. If you're sitting on a character design or a scene or an idea and you're scared to share it, just know that you're not alone. I've been there. I still am. Sometimes it creeps in. But if you can push past that fear and listen to the right voices, you'll find your groove. Your work matters and the world needs it, now more than ever. So, in closing, that's it for today's episode. We'll dig more into the role of feedback and how to handle negativity in the future. But for now, stay inspired and keep creating. This is Tim, signing off.